the diet prison. I refer to the diet culture as a prison because once you dip your toe into the rivers of routine, calorie counting, and measuring your self-worth from a figure on a scale, you are drinking from the cup of capture. And the seed has been planted. And the safety net of guaranteed results is just too delicious not to take a bite of. The bait that will clip your intuitive wings and feed you to the chase. The chase for the perfect body. The body that will be the answer to all your prayers. I recently heard Gillian Acosta mention in one of her podcast interviews that living with restrictive eating is like living in a prison. And I stopped in my tracks right there, because I have lived in that prison for most of my life. Living by these timed nutrition rules, eliminating quote-unquote bad foods, liquid diets, recording calories, weighing food, validating my mood off a number on the scale. But is that living? Is that really living? Carrying around this internalized, extensive rulebook to constrict our hunger patterns into this copycat, generalized eating plan. Or ignoring our body's intuitive hunger fluctuations for the sake of chasing a number at the end of the week. Not eating past a certain time or cutting food groups, allowing someone else's rules to be that judgment that replaces our own internal guidance system. Is that living? Is that really living? The extent and the depth of our capacity and capability to be generally happy with who we are has been exploited by this culture that aims to just sell this happiness through a perfectionistic mindset. I'll be happy when. Everything will be good when. I can feel confident in my body when. I will be worthy of love when. But when does that time arrive? What is that exact moment when you are allowed, you give yourself the permission to be happy in your own skin? Are you giving yourself that permission, or are you waiting for perhaps someone else to validate you? For someone else to say, well done, you achieved a gold star this week because you listened to my rules and achieved a new target. The trap of chasing this level of happiness and content through our body's composition, manipulating and restricting our food, is creating this culture of comparison and unrealistic ideals. Ones that are harming our actual appreciation of our bodies and what they actually go through for us to live in a day. People are almost putting their happiness on hold, pressing the pause button on their life until they reach this numerical weight goal. And what happens if you never reach it or you fall short? I recently heard that food is the secondary source of nourishment in life. The primary source of nourishment is interaction, is expression, building community, nature, a sense of purpose in the world, feeding our souls. And when these are in balance, we compensate less with secondary foods, the foods we actually eat. The focus on the manipulation of food to manipulate our bodies and manipulate our sense of happiness takes away from the intrinsic reason why we eat in the first place: to nourish our lives, to live. So ask yourself, what does living freely mean to me? If that equates to having a full set of guiding rules, to know your eating parameters, then I am so thrilled that you have found your plan and what works for you to embrace your sense of freedom. But if those rules feel even the slightest bit constricting, or give you a feeling of failure if you deviate from them, or if you constrict your life to fit into them, ask yourself again, does this actually feel freeing? Is this feeding my life? After 20 years in cycles of anorexia, bulimia, and disordered eating, I know what the weight of self-imposed rules feels like. The avoiding meals out, taking your own calculated food to a restaurant, being the only one not eating at a family meal, cancelling plans, check in the mirror constantly to keep reminding yourself of how worthless you are. Not eating for the day to cancel out the previous day. Lying and saying you ate when really you know you didn't. Feeling anxious at the thought of not making your own food. Going to bed starving and actually being proud of how little you ate that day. And if this sounds familiar, then there is another way. And no matter how scary that might sound to someone who is familiar with controlled eating patterns, if I can reverse 20 years of disordered eating, I have full faith that you can too. I'm sorry to say that just like escaping the diet prison of rules, there is no rule book. And that's the beauty. No 5-step plan to freedom, no cookie cutter guide to loving your own skin. But it does begin with building a relationship to your body. Because finding a level of compassion and acceptance of who you are eliminates the need and the desire to change parts of yourself, which are most likely what make you unique in the first place. The desire to change yourself, to fit into a standard that was never meant for you, is a disservice to the body you were given and to the woman you are. Accepting that your body is your body, and instead of the continual manipulation and shaming of it, if we learn to relate to it, learn that it's okay to change, it's okay if our body fluctuates, it's meant to fluctuate. We don't need to look like each other. We were all made uniquely different, for a reason. This also means quitting intentional comparison. Quit comparing yourself to someone else's ideal. Stop watching the what I eat in a day videos and believing that if you eat that way, you will achieve what that person has. You will magically morph into their level of status. My coach and mentor once told me that there is a difference between an influencer and an authority. An influencer has the potential to persuade and influence your ability to make your own decisions, whereas an authority is a person of expertise. I would love to inspire you to be that authority over your own body. Throw out the jeans from 3 years ago that no longer fit. Trying to be that younger version of you just discredits the woman you are today. There is no quick fixes that are going to blanket your life with perfection. The one thing that I can guarantee is that life experiences are so much more enjoyable when you make peace with your body and actually enjoy living through your body, rather than seeing it as this thing that you need to manipulate and change in order to find that peace, in order to find that happiness. The mental fatigue from always chasing the perfect body is soul destroying. Soul destroying.
That was such a bad idea. I should have moved the car down the hill onto the tarmac instead of try to push it up the hill over the stony floor.
It's like wishing the weather was sunny on a rainy day and feeling all the frustration washing over you because you are not able to immediately change the weather. You can't change it. The frustration is from not being able to do anything to immediately change it. And instead of just basking in the rain and enjoying the sound, you are frustrated and you are not enjoying that day. And I'm not saying that we should disregard our health and strive to be this best physical version of ourselves, but there is a way of doing it nourishingly. A way that adds value to our lives rather than more restriction. Learn your body's hunger signals. Notice how certain foods make you feel. Catch yourself when you notice yourself retreating to those imposed rules. Think about where your food came from and build a connection to it, an appreciation for it, a gratitude for it. If you're eating a piece of fruit or a vegetable, appreciate all the rainwater that nourished the soil so it could grow, the sun rays that it absorbed. Appreciate the hands that picked them and the transport they weathered to reach your plate. Building that connection with your food allows you to truly appreciate it. Taste your food. Take time to really taste the richness of a piece of chocolate and let yourself enjoy it. I like to break dark chocolate up into these tiny, tiny little pieces and eat it as slowly as possible to savor the taste. To give myself that gift, this act I get to enjoy rather than it being a sin. Can you feel the texture of your food? Can you taste the richness? Can you appreciate the colour, the taste? And the body is this source of life, this altar of life. And when we eat, we are offering a life source to ourselves. Like offering food to the gods, our body is this sacred altar, our lifeline in this lifetime. And how we eat also has such a huge impact on our body. And eating when our bodies are experiencing states of raised arousal or states of stress or tension, our food isn't digested properly because the blood flow is decreased to the digestive organs. So being mindful of how we feel when we eat can also affect our experience with eating and how it is digested in our bodies. Taking a moment of gratitude before you eat creates this deeper connection to our food, appreciating the ability to eat nourishing food and the life that it sustains. Slowing down to eat rather than seeing it as an insignificant pause in the flow of your day, intentionally tasting each bite, bypassing the need to multitask while you're eating, while watching TV, while checking your phone, all at the same time. The act of doing one singular task at a time eliminates this multi-directional pull on your attention. So instead of enjoying our food, we are robotically consumed by media. We are distracted from our eating, from the process of eating, from enjoying the food. Mindlessly chewing and tasting nothing. So when you sit down to eat, just eat, nothing else. You can't be the best version of you if you are trying to be like someone else. Period. Always having the very best attuned discernment about what works for you. What makes you feel alive? What feels comforting and makes you feel confident? What tastes divine just for you? And what do you enjoy? You don't need to be like anyone else. You weren't made to be like anyone else. Getting to know your taste buds, your rhythms of your body, and your body again is crucial to this rewiring of the rules that we learn through diet culture. And to me, a healthy relationship with our body stems from this forgiveness of every time you believed that your body wasn't enough. Forgiving yourself in every moment, momentarily, and reminding yourself that you were always just doing the best you could with what you knew to be true, alleviates this judgment, alleviates this shame around failing at achieving perfection. when you are the only person that is telling you that. It's you. I hope this inspires you to find your own flow, find your own vibrancy, find your own reason for nourishing your body. There is so much more to consuming food and nourishment than just a number on the scales and fitting into someone else's plan. I hope you found some peace and some ease through this video, and I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you in another video soon.